Today's how-to is a PVC candle with flickering LEDs that is powered by a power supply and wiring, and you use PVC pipe, and you basically need these two tools. You need a drill or something to at least make a hole in the PVC with drill bits, and you need a hot glue gun. Those are the only real tools you need other than something to cut the PVC pipe. You can use a chop saw with really any blade as long as it goes fast. The more teeth, the more finer cut you're going to get, but I think mine has a 60 tooth on it, and it did this. So, pretty clean cut. And then the angle on it too. So this is a 45-degree angle. You can cut it, as you can tell, like on this one, it does have a bit of a flat edge on it, where this one does not. See, it's pretty thin. This is all up to your creativity-ness, in that, you know, you don't have to make them exactly that angle. You can make them really any angle you want. You don't even have to angle them if you don't want to. These are to simulate pillar candles, and actually I have a completed one right here. I'll move these out of the way. So this is your completed one. As you can tell, there are LEDs inside, and then the wiring is on the bottom, and the wiring is all routed through so that you have one wire when you're done. Obviously, I did not solder these. I used electrical tape, but that's because these were going to be indoors at all times. If you are going to be putting them outdoors, or just in general, you should be, there you go, now you can see the wiring. You should be soldering these together. For the purposes of the class that I'm doing these at, we can't actually solder inside the convention room because of the smoke and the, you know, so the poor ventilation basically. So we will not be soldering them. We will be taping them, but only because of the inability to do the soldering. So soldering and heat shrink is probably the only other thing that you would need to do to complete this. But you can do them with electrical tape as long as you're using them indoors and they're away from children. So let's get started. So the first step is to cut your PVC and obviously gather your materials. This is this is an 1.5-inch pipe. It's an 1.25-inch pipe. This is I believe it is sorry, I should have had this figured out before I did it. It's a 1-inch bushing. So you can see how it has this, and it has the contour top on the thing. This actually goes inside the 1.5-inch pipe. You'll have to put some glue in there, and we'll show you that a little later. And then also, these are 3/4-inch caps, slip caps. The threaded ones I don't believe will work very well because they are a smaller diameter. These actually fit almost very snug. See how snug that is? So those fit in the 1.25-inch pipe. So for 1.5-inch, 1-inch bushing. For 1.25-inch pipe, 3/4-inch cap. You'll need a power supply. I recommend 12 volt, 1 amp, because then you can actually power. I powered about 40 of these with one thing. You can actually do 50 of the 5mm 12 volt LEDs with these. You can do 50 of them on a 1 amp circuit. So 2 amp, 100, obviously. You'll need some type of wiring. I use speaker wire to actually go between the LEDs and the power supply, because the speaker wire is just a conduit of electricity as long as they're, you know, covered. And you get your drill bits to go through the pipe to make the holes for the wiring, and then just hot glue stuff. So you will cut the pipe to whatever desired length you have. I don't even know, I think I did 12, 10, and 8. So you have your 12, 10, and 8. And then how you're going to arrange these is basically up to you. But basically I go like that, so that you have a, you know, 3-tiered look. You can obviously go taller, you can go smaller, whatever you want to do. That again is up to you. So basically what I do is I'm getting a little bit of leakage of the hot glue. I actually went and took the wiring and measured out that, I'm not going to pretend to know what type of, I'll put in the description what size drill bit and what size of, basically I use 2 different drill bits. The first drill bit is to make the holes, and then the second drill bit is to make the holes a little bigger. Only because, the only reason that is because you probably could just use 1 drill bit, whichever this one size is, so I will actually just put this one as the 1 drill bit. But I use 2 just because of the way my drill bits work. This silver one seems to go through the pipe without making, because the pipe's rounded, it'll make the thing, you know, slide off. This one makes it slide off the edge, and I might miss when I'm trying to drill through it. It might go off to the side. This one seems to poke through just enough that it stays straight. So basically what I do is I take the pipe and I line it up just like that. And then I take a Sharpie and I kind of mark. This one goes off to the side. It can go through the middle if you want, but I choose to have it, this one goes through the middle, and then I have one going out the side. You can actually have it go out in a line, it doesn't really matter. Just have your drill bit go through both pieces of pipe. The reason I have this one over here like this is because of the fact that then I'm not trying to thread a bunch of wire through this one pipe. You could do that as well. You could have it go through all these 2 pipes connect to the middle pipe and then out the back. Either way, this way then there's a wire coming out the side. So actually, for the purposes of this how-to, let's scratch my original idea and let's make another dual hole here. So now you have, if I can lift it up without it moving, so I can show you, you basically have 2 lines going into the middle line and then the line going out. So we will now cut. That gives you a little guide of where to drill your holes. So I just basically take a drill bit, drill through the hole just like that. Don't drill all the way through, because you're not going to go through that pipe all the way. Kind of give an idea of where your other hole is in, you know. You may not be exactly on. And like I said, just go through both. Nice hole going through there, and a hole going through the other side. You got your other 2 holes there. So, oh, and this pipe. So we're actually going to do this. Try to make it as clean as possible. So now you're done with the drilling, which is super cool. So now we are going to, you have your 3 pipes, you got your holes cut. So what I do is I take the wires, sorry, you're also going to need wire strippers and electrical tape. So take your LEDs. They're pretty much the smallest line on there. Maybe even smaller than the smallest line, which is 22 to 20 gauge. So just strip off enough so you got a little bit on there. Get a little bit, and do that to each LED. I only use 1 LED in each candle. That seemed to provide plenty of light for what I wanted. But you, of course, are always welcome to add more. You would need to, you know, the hole that I drilled in these, which I'll get to in a minute, fits the 1 LED just perfectly. So if you wanted to do more than 1, you could probably do a couple of holes, or you can, you know, tape together the LEDs so that they don't go through all the way, and then drill a bigger hole. So you got your wires cut, and then, okay, so take your LED, take your piece of pipe. And what I did was I actually cut this hole to match this black area where the shrink tubing is, where the resistor is. I matched up the drill to that. I'll put that in the description. Take that down and see, nice, snug little fit. Woo. So now you have that inside the tube like that. Splice off your speaker wire, red and black, red and black. Obviously, for the purposes, like I said, of the class, I'm going to splice that a little further. We're not going to be doing any soldering because of the fumes. Please solder all your joints. I do not want to be getting phone calls saying that you burned down your house and I'm at fault. I will be really sad for you and I'll donate to your GoFundMe. But don't hold me responsible for your fire. So, take your wire leads, wrap them together. And if you're a hunter watching this, I know full well that you use electrical tape outdoors, just like I do. I try not to. I do try to solder stuff, especially if it's going to be anywhere near exposed. But I really suck at soldering, and I'm really good at taping. So, wrap them up nice and tight. The cool thing about this is actually this is going to be inside of a tube that will be having hot glue all around the rim of the bushing or the cap, so really no water will get in there. But if you're going to be using these outside, like in front of a tombstone or something, then I would definitely recommend at least, you know, maybe putting a little dab of silicone in there so that it really seals that up, or solder your joints and shrink tubing. So you now have this. You have your wire lead all connected. Now you have your pipe. I'll take this away. Ooh, shavings. So you have your pipe. Take your electrical wire. Go through the pipe, because you don't know how long it is until you get it all through. Pull that through. Let's zoom this back out. Pull that back through. Now, obviously that went way too far down. So, what you want to do is you want to pop it back out a little bit there. And basically, I believe what I did it just wants to go right back down, doesn't it? Is make sure that your hot glue is ready to go, because as you can tell, it wants to slide a lot. So what I do is I take the little dab of hot glue in there and go all the way around the rim. I'll show you once I'm done with it. And it really doesn't matter if you have any excess in there, because now, so go all the way around the rim so that it kind of attaches. That's terrible. This is a new hot glue gun that I have. My amazing friend Amy got this for me for Christmas. So kind of let gravity take its course there a little bit, and because it wants to slide back down as well. So let that kind of hold like that. You basically don't want to see, you want to see just a little tiny bit of the bulb. You can barely see it in there. You want to see just a little tiny bit of the bulb. The reason for that is these are supposed to make the idea of a candle that has been burning for a little tiny bit but not a long time, where you have other ones that are burned, you know, really far down. And if you have pillar candles at home, you know that it burns down through the middle and you still have an edge on the top for a while. As you burn it down, that obviously that edge continues to fall in. But for a while, especially on these really skinny pillar candles, you will have it go down the middle a little bit, where you have a nice ring of orange around the outside. Obviously nothing's going to penetrate the pipe itself, but you're going to get a nice glow in here, and it's going to really permeate out. And the cool thing about using white and not doing anything on the inside of this is the fact that it's super reflective, and it will match the color of the LED inside. So we have that one done. So what we can do is we can actually cut the, these are terrible cutters. Let's get some good cutters. So you can actually now cut the LED leads, and what I would do is I would definitely cut it much longer than you need. So now you have this nice lead right there. Still should have enough. Basically what I give my class for this is I give 6 feet of wire, 6 feet of speaker wire, and that should be enough to do plenty of it, plus add some to the end for your power supply. So we now have that one is done. We'll make sure. The cool thing is when you route these through when you route this back through the actual hole in the tube, it will hold the LED in place as well. So now we will do this with the other one. We'll turn this one to the side over here, let him sit for a minute. Get another LED. I already stripped that one off. Here's the end that I just cut. Bring back the paper. So I got the 18 gauge. That. Twisty, 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 twisty. It's easier if you twist them, because then they don't sit out. So remember to take your LED, pop it through the bushing. Now, don't try to put the cap in first to the tube. I tried that. It didn't work. It was a mistake. So it's always good to try different ways, because I tried to see if it was a faster way to put the LED, put the bushing into the pipe first. Put the hot glue around it, and then put the LED, and then put the cap in there. Then try to string it through. There's no way, because you have the electrical wire. If you're soldering, it might work, only because you're not having as much electrical tape. The heat shrink might go through a little better, but the hole on the cap is not going to allow you to get much more of the wire through than what's already there. So just put the LED through the cap, wire it up that way. Remember, folks, black to black, red to red, or red and black stripe to red. Obviously, there's all different types of colors for hot and ground, but in LEDs, red and black. So, you have that. Do your awesome super cutting ability of electrical tape there by He-Man ripping it. Ah! And you have another fantastic LED. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. Go ahead and put a little more. It doesn't matter how much you use, because it doesn't matter, because you're not going to see it. You know? So, see, that's a lot of hot glue in there. But now you have the LED. You got this again. Go ahead and, again, a pretty good amount coming out of it, so that you have enough room to work with your splicing and all that kind of stuff. Might not be a bad idea to splice off the ends there as well. The cool thing is all of these wires are going to splice together into one master wire. Master, There's a lot of He-Man references in this. Masters of the universe. All right. Enough of that shenanigans. I swear that should be my middle name is Shenanigans. Anyways. So, we now have that. We have that. And now we have the big pipe. Oh, the big pipe. Big pipe project. Oh. I don't know what the Prefontaine music is. You know, Prefontaine was about a man. So, we'll put these to the side. These are done. Ish. Another LED. This time we go into the bushing. And the only reason is because the inch cap does not, it is way too, there's a lot of room around this. And so what it does with this having all the, you know, having the octagon shape with it, having the flat edges actually allows for a little more snugness. It still goes through really, you know, there's still a lot of room. Okay, so I need to apologize because my camera is set to turn off on 30 minutes after a video, or 30 minutes of a video. So it didn't catch the rest of this part of it. But basically I took the bushing and I put that in there just like the other pipes. Then I threaded all of the wiring through the hole. I made a bigger hole in the back than I originally did, so I would recommend doing that. Just find one of your bigger drill bits and make a hole through the back to make for all three of the wires to come through. Then you're going to take hot glue, as you can tell there's something right there. Take these pipes kind of off a little bit because they're still attached down here. You know, put them off to both sides, run hot glue on this pipe, run it on where these pipes are going to go, and run one in between the two pipes, slam it together like this, okay? Then you'll take all of your wiring and you'll cut the pieces to length, to the same length, tie them all up, tape them up, solder them, and then you go down to your pigtail. And what I was saying before I realized that the camera had turned off was that on this particular pigtail, it has a black, red, and a red. See the red on there? Yeah. So the problem is that you need to basically follow, because the speaker wire is a conduit, it has no electrical properties to it other than being a conduit. You need to make sure that, because all of your wires out of here were red. Were red off of the LEDs to the red on the speaker wire, and then, well, the red black, and then your ground was to your black. So on this one, I would recommend, if you buy this specific type of pigtail, a lot of them are black, and then they come with a red and black wire on the inside. They have black sheeting on the outside, and then the red and the black wires that need to be cut as well. Is for this, you know, particular type of pigtail, I would do black red to black and red to red black from there, so that you have your red on there. Your solid red would go to your red black, and your red black of the pigtail would go to the regular black. I will write that on the instructable as well, or on the description. So you've got that all done. Here is your PVC candle, completed. Now we will plug it in. Yeah, this is so cool. Ta-da! So I will go turn off the lights so we can see the glow. Now, doesn't that look good? And so here it is if you're looking at it. See how you get that nice warm glow around it. You can't really see the LEDs. Very nice. And all three LEDs do different flickering at different rates, which is awesome. So, turn back on the lights. So the final touches of this would be, let's see if we're, okay, so the final touches, we'll go ahead and unplug it. Not that it really matters, but we'll unplug it. Is, after you drop it, is to take more of your, So what you can also do is get yourself a heat gun. Mine is different from other people's, maybe, but it works for me. All right, so got your heat gun. Very cool. So what you can do is basically take your hot glue and go around the edges. And then make big old long, just make nice big goops basically. And this is where the heat gun will come in. So you can see how it's starting to goop a little bit. Yeah, I don't really think that really worked very well. It's kind of a hit and miss type of thing. So you can kind of tell, but it's very goopy. It's very nice. It runs down really nice like that. So then you do your top one up there. Basically, when you're going around the edge like this, you're basically just kind of you're hiding your edge there. Just make that goop down there. So then you've got this nice dripping effect. Yeah. So now you have very cool looking LED candles. We'll turn. There you go. Yeah. So we'll turn the light off again. We'll get the full effect of it. And you've got a very nice LED flickering PVC candle.